Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Nur Alisa from 8th class 2018. In this video, I will tell you what things you do before you start the consecutive interpreting process. And also, I will do a simulation of consecutive interpreting process briefly. There are several things you should do before you start the consecutive interpreting. The first thing is you should understand what the topics will be discussed in that event. Usually, before the event starts, there is a briefing between the speakers and the interpreter. So make sure that you understand what the topic will be discussed in that event when you do the briefing with the speakers. Second thing is you should prepare what the tools you will use for the consecutive interpreting process. Usually, the consecutive interpreter will use a paper or a notes to write what the speaker says, and then he or she can interpret what the speaker says based on their note taking. Third things to do is you should listen carefully what the speaker says and make sure that you don't miss what the speaker says even one thing. You listen what the speaker says, you also should write what the speaker says, and it is called the note-taking process. And don't write the whole thing that your speaker says. You only write the important thing, and you write not the text. You write only the symbols of what the speaker says. After that, you're ready to interpret what the speaker says to the audience. I will do the simulations of consecutive interpreting based on this video.
Hello from Seattle, Washington. I believe that I contracted the coronavirus from a house party. We had a great time. We were socializing and chatting, listening to music. 3 days later, I woke up in the morning and I felt ill. I was a little bit tired, but I thought that perhaps I had just overdone it the previous weekend and been out. So I went to the office like usual. But in the midday, I started feeling worse. I had a bad headache. I had body aches. I felt tired. So I also felt a little feverish. So I did go home. I worked from home, and that evening I took a nap in the early evening. When I woke up, my temperature was 101 degrees Fahrenheit. And then by the time I went to go to bed, my temperature was 103 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's around 39.4 degrees Celsius. So it was quite high. At that point, I got ready for bed. I took some over-the-counter medicine. I took some acetaminophen, which in the United States is branded as Tylenol. And then I went to bed. The next morning, thankfully, my fever had come down by 2 degrees to 101 degrees Fahrenheit. And at that point, I had all of those symptoms that I mentioned, like the fatigue, the body aches, the headache, and the fever. But I didn't have any cough. And I didn't have any respiratory symptoms. I didn't have tightness in my chest or shortness of breath. So I didn't think that I had the coronavirus. I decided to just stay home. I figured that I could recover on my own. I thought it was a flu, honestly. Several of my friends who were at the party, 2 days later, I noticed that they were commenting on a Facebook post of another woman who was at the party, and she said that she was sick. She had fallen sick on a Tuesday, the same day I had fallen sick, and several people who were at the party commented and said that they were sick too, and we all had the similar symptoms. There were about 12 to 15 people who fell sick at the same time after the party, and there were a total of 30 to 40 people at the party.
And this is the result of my note-taking process from what the speaker says in that video. Halo, saya berasal dari Seattle, Washington. Saya yakin bahwa saya telah terkena virus saat saya menghadiri pesta bersama teman-teman saya. Saat itu kami memiliki waktu yang menyenangkan. Kami mengobrol satu sama lain, kami mendengarkan musik, dan kami juga bersosialisasi dengan baik. Namun 3 hari kemudian, ketika saya bangun di pagi hari, saya merasa tidak enak badan dan saya juga merasa lelah. Tapi saya pikir itu hanyalah karena saya terlalu bersemangat menghabiskan akhir pekan. Jadi saya tidak menghiraukannya dan saya pergi bekerja seperti biasanya. Namun di siang hari saya mulai merasa sakit dan seluruh badan saya mulai terasa sakit. Jadi saya pergi ke rumah dan beristirahat di rumah. Sore harinya ketika saya bangun tidur, suhu tubuh saya mencapai 101 derajat Fahrenheit. dan suhunya terus meningkat menjadi 103 derajat Fahrenheit atau sekitar 39,4 derajat Celcius. Suhu yang cukup tinggi. Dan ketika itu saya langsung meminum obat acetaminophen atau Tylenol yang di Amerika Serikat. Setelah itu besoknya suhu saya turun lagi menjadi 101 derajat Fahrenheit. Namun saya tetap memiliki gejala yang sama seperti hari sebelumnya, yaitu fatigue, tidak enak badan, sakit kepala, dan juga demam. Tapi saya tidak merasakan batuk. Saya pikir itu adalah masalah kesehatan biasa dan bukan terinfeksi coronavirus. Jadi saya hanya memutuskan untuk tetap tinggal di rumah dan saya yakin saya bisa mengatasinya sendiri. Namun 2 hari kemudian ketika saya melihat status teman saya di Facebook, teman-teman saya itu orang-orang yang menghadiri pesta juga yang sama, merasakan gejala yang sama seperti saya. Jadi saat itu orang yang hadir ke pesta ada sekitar 40 orang dan 15 dari mereka merasakan gejala yang sama seperti saya. Saat itulah saya menyadari bahwa saya telah terinfeksi coronavirus.